Well, let's see. I think we're broadcasting. Welcome to TAXITV. I have no idea why that's not coming through. All right. Well, let me know. Can you guys see us? Is everything going there? You are. Okay. Did you guys hear the music? We're not getting it.
I heard it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Twice.
Interesting. All right. Well, welcome to this week's episode of TAXITV Live. I'd like to welcome my special guest, very special guest, Matt Vander Boegh. Yay! Let's do some applause. I really wish I could hear this stuff. Weird that it's not coming through. Let me check something on my audio mixer. Weird. Okay. Oh, well, not going to worry about that. Anyway, I'm so excited to have Matt because, first of all, I owe him such a debt of gratitude because he started his own YouTube channel, Matt's Music Minute, I don't know, 9 months ago or something, maybe?
About a year ago.
About a year ago. And very early in the life of his channel, he did a couple really flattering videos about Taxi, which I didn't know he was doing. I didn't ask him to do it, but he just did it because he's a fan of the company. And nothing better than to get genuine, authentic kudos from somebody who has used it and succeeded because he started with Taxi, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago at this point. And so thank you for that, Matt. I appreciate it. And he's going to be at the Road Rally on several things at this year's Road Rally, which is coming up November 6th through the 9th. And I know everybody's like, should I go? Should I not go? So let's talk about the rally for a minute, and then we're going to get into the 5 reasons this sync composer is so successful today. I totally forgot to email him about the 5 things over the weekend. About 2 hours ago, he emails me. He goes, yeah, I got to come up with 5 things. But I'm sure you can come up with more than that. Anyway, so the Road Rally, we're going to be sending out we sent out the ballroom schedule in our newsletter, I think on October 1st. All the other stuff with all the mentors and the classes and the class descriptions, you cannot imagine how much detail goes into those things and making sure that we've got like Matt's on a panel at 11 a.m. in the ballroom. Well, he certainly can't be doing a class at 11:30 upstairs in a classroom or mentoring or whatever. So straightening that out for dozens of people is a Herculean task, to say the least. And we're so close. And I got to say, thank you, ChatGPT, for being a great partner and helping us. Now we just run all the documents through ChatGPT and say, look for conflicts. Is anybody booked at the same time in different places? It's much more efficient than doing it in a human way. That was a 1.5 day long process. Now it's about a 2-hour process because we find mistakes, we fix them, we run it again, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, also want to let you guys know that the hotel rooms, gosh, a week or 10 days ago were already at like 71% sold out. Matt, can you tell everybody why it's important to stay at the Westin Hotel where the rally is?
Oh, yeah. That's where all the action is. Like I couldn't imagine doing the Road Rally staying anywhere that you would have to leave. You're just going to miss out on so much if you're not there. It's kind of like living in the dorms on campus at college. It's just like you live in the action and that's where it all is.
Right.
And there's so much stuff that go on after the conference is officially done for the day. And, people will stay up till midnight, 1, 2 in the morning or later, as I have on many occasions. And you don't want to have to leave something early because you got to catch a cab or an Uber back to your hotel that's a couple of miles away just so you can save $15. Like, it's really not worth the hassle. But plus the money you would spend on an Uber to get a couple miles down the road is going to negate any hotel savings that you're trying to get. And you're just going to be kicking yourself if you're not there. And it's just so much different to be entrenched in everything and just be like, well, I guess it's time for me to hit the hay, and you hit the elevator and you go up to your room. Like that's so much different than, oh, I got to call this thing and get down. Nobody wants to do that.
No, I see
Some
Zen
people
Chief
do want
Engineer
to do that.
in the chat.
What's that?
One of our chatters is saying last year he stayed somewhere else. He mentions that his wife booked him into an Airbnb a couple miles away, which is no bueno, because exactly, you're going to be either renting a car for $50 a day, which you don't need to do. If you stay at the Westin LAX, you're only about a mile away from the airport, and there's a free shuttle that goes to
and you don't
fro.
need parking.
Right, which is
you get that airport shuttle, save parking fees. You'd have zero transportation costs. It puts you right at the hotel. We'll take you right back to the airport. Like if you're trying to nickel and dime your way into getting a better deal, you're going to lose all that savings on all the additional fees, transportation, parking. Just not worth it.
And the Westin gives us a really great rate. I think I want to say $175, $179 a night this year. And last time I looked, other sync-oriented things, conventions, conferences, whatever, that are in Los Angeles, the rooms are like $100 a night more. So, and the fact that you get the free shuttle, you don't have to rent a car, you don't have to deal with LA traffic. But like you said, the most important thing is the after hours networking. And we'll talk about that before we wrap up the day too, because I want to formalize the networking a little bit more this year by having people wear badges or something, like a sticker that says vocalist looking for track master or track producer, or songwriter needs male vocals, and put those stickers on your front and on your back, so when you're walking around the bar standing up there waiting to get your next beer from the bartender, somebody can see, oh, female vocalist, I need one of those for a song, tap you on the shoulder.
That's an amazing idea. I love that.
Thanks. Well, we're formalizing it at tomorrow morning's 9 a.m. rally meeting.
There you go. Well, for what it's worth, I give that my full stamp of approval.
Absolutely. Somebody in the chat room just said rally speed dating. We thought about setting it up like speed dating, but it just seemed goofy to have people sitting in a long row at a table, and you sit down with somebody and go, okay, I need X, Y, or Z. Oh, I don't do that. It required too much organization and not enough productivity coming from it. So just simplified it. You know what they say, Occam's razor, sometimes the simplest thing is the best thing.
It was the easiest solution is the
something like that. A couple of geniuses here. You can see neither of us had. Well, you have a master's. Anyway, so it just came down to, hey, what about large, not my name is, but big white stickers like that just say vocalist looking to collab, or sitar player looking to collab, whatever it is. So we'll see how that goes this year.
It's the simple ideas like this that you just don't ever think about, and then when someone comes up with the idea, it's like, that is the most genius thing. Why has this never happened before?
Yeah, considering we've done
so effective.
28 of them already, and it took me 27 and a half years or 28 and a half years to come up with this brilliant idea. Speaking of brilliant ideas, I've been working a lot lately with our programmer, and he told me as of about 11 o'clock last night, he told me that he feels confident that the Taxi Garage will be ready to officially announce at this year's Road Rally. So I'm excited about that. Been a long, arduous, and expensive journey, but it's going to work. Anyway, I want to get down to the heart of the matter. Why are you so successful? Because I get heartbroken when I see people that make 2 or 3 submissions and go, oh, your screeners hate me, or they trashed me, or I'll never be good enough. I know you extremely well. You were not born gifted in the music department. I mean, you're not Beethoven.
Yeah. I was a fairly decent trumpet player back in the day, but that doesn't translate to anything in this role.
Right. So give me the first reason the first reason why you're successful.
Yeah, this is a very obvious one, and this is going to sound like a commercial for you, Michael, and the company. But I joined Taxi. Like, I mean, it's going to sound like a paid testimonial. I swear it's not.
And I didn't tell you what to say for today's show at all. I didn't ask you anything. Okay, just want to be clear about that.
No, but I tell this to people all the time. They're like, how do you get started in this business? How do you even get going in that? Well, join Taxi. Go to the website and look it up. Like that's what I credit everything to. And for people that don't know, you had your numbers just a little bit wrong, Michael. I'm in my 17th year of Taxi membership. 17. So I started in about this time in 2008.
And you wanted to be a rock star.
What's that?
And you wanted to be like a hard rock guy, right?
Oh yeah. I was looking for like a record deal, so I could be Motley Crue, the 2008 version. And I have never let my membership lapse, and I still submit stuff to this day. I am no different than anybody else in Taxi world. I still submit. I still get returned. I still get forwards that lead to nothing. Like I feel everything that the average everyday member feels, because I am an average everyday member. I've just been doing it a long time, and I've never sat on the other side. I've never screened tracks. I've never been paid anything by you or your staff, Michael. Certainly wouldn't say no to a $500 handshake one of these days.
I'm glad that you said handshake.
$500,000 handshake. But no, you guys have never paid me anything, but I still speak so highly of the company, and I wouldn't be ponying up hundreds of dollars every year for 17 years in a row if I did not believe in the service you offer and what it leads to. Look, I'm sitting in this chair right now, living this life with this career because of Taxi, and I don't know how much more glowing of a review I can give to someone. At this point, the royalties that I've received are far in excess of $1 million. Like, how can you argue that?
Well, but, I'm sure you had a little something to do with it. And thank you for saying all that. I really do appreciate it. And the reason I want you on the show is because you are every person, but yet so many people create all these ideas, excuses, just reasons why I'm not being, it's the screener hates me, or my music doesn't sound modern enough, or I don't have the time to devote to this, just whatever the reasons are. But you could have been that guy. And I didn't mean it. Some people have made in the chat say, oh, that was a backhanded compliment when I said you weren't born gifted.
Well, yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Because I had to, the only musical talent I had was that I was a trumpet player, and I went to college on a trumpet scholarship. I'd played in the marching band all through college, and I was pretty good. I wasn't the best, but I was right up there. I played first trumpet. I could hit those high notes with the best of them. But that doesn't qualify you or prepare you for anything that happens in my world now. Like, that doesn't teach you how to do music production, doesn't teach you how to orchestrate or arrange or write cues. So really, the trumpet skills that I had were so secondary, almost like completely not applicable at all.
So if somebody needs a cue of a trumpet playing taps, you're the first call on that. But that's about it, right? Yeah. Unless you need horns.
Yeah. Yeah, funny story. When I was in high school, I would get called to play taps.
Oh, no.
I go play the military funerals. I'd get like $25. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That had to be
side
tough.
hustle. Yeah, I didn't particularly care for it. Yeah, just because you had to be at funerals all the time.
Yeah, and especially military funerals, guys who put their life on the line for us, and now they're gone.
Yeah.
Anyway,
way too somber of an experience.
So, all right, we know that you are grateful to Taxi, and I really do appreciate that. But you didn't have any chops whatsoever for doing this. You didn't know what a cue was. You didn't know how to run Pro Tools. If I remember, you decided to become a country songwriter because you figured, how hard can that be? Beer at pickup trucks and my girlfriend down at the swimming hole with her Daisy Dukes on. And then you went to a Taxi Road Rally, the aforementioned Taxi Road Rally, and somebody, I think it was maybe James Koshin, another successful member, said, dude, instrumental cues are where it's at. Film and TV, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly it. In fact, you made a perfect segue. So, if going back to the 5 things that I could boil down my success to, the first one was joining Taxi. And I got to thank my buddy Steve Fulton for even introducing me to Taxi. Steve's the guy, me and Michael went to his studio out here in Boise. And
there's Steve's CD right there.
Oh, you've got the CD. Oh, he's going to love that. I hope he's watching. If he's not watching now, he'll watch it later, I'm sure. Anyway, so Steve introduced me to Taxi, and that was that's the biggest thing I can credit this entire path of mine to, because I wouldn't even have known that writing music for TV shows was a possible career path. Like you don't know that. And I was a communication major in college, but I still hung around the music department, being in the marching band for every year, and I was a music minor, so I took a few classes over there. Never once did any single teacher mention the fact that, hey, you could possibly write music for TV shows. It was not on their radar because they didn't do it. It was like speaking a foreign language to them. Wow. So it was not taught to any of the music students. Nobody knew that this was a potential way forward in the music business. Like, really, my thoughts of, like, you had a handful of possible career paths as a musician. Number one, you could teach music at a high school. And that's for all the music majors out there. You get your music degree, and what does that qualify you to do? I'll go teach high school. If you were a good enough player, you could get hired on in an orchestra, like a Philharmonic type thing. Or you could start a bar band and go play the bar circuit all the time.
Until you're too old to do that. Yeah. Yep. And who really wants to keep that grind up for variable paychecks that typically aren't that much? And then, gosh, what other paths forward are there? I couldn't really think of any. So, or you could be a rock star, like a real legitimate rock star, and that was the diamond in the, like, needle in the haystack thing. So these are the possible paths that I saw as a musician, and none of them at all involved writing music for TV shows. So I wouldn't even have known this world was out here if it weren't for Taxi. And so it just from an eye-opening perspective, Taxi is better than any university's music program for preparing you guys for a potential career. Wow.
And, tuition is not $50,000 a year. It's $300.
Yeah, for your first year. Right. And then $200 for every renewal. I was just with my 44-year-old daughter over Labor Day weekend. And I remember when she was ready to go to college, she said, Dad, I've been an A student my whole life. I've never done one little thing wrong. I am like, essentially she was saying in the nicest possible way, I'm every parent's dream child. And she was. She's like a perfect kid. Very, very proud of her. She said, but the college I want to go to is $50,000 a year. And that was 20-some years ago. Luckily, I had an ex-wife and we split it down the middle, so it was tolerable or bearable. But I found out when I was there, I said, so are your sons, who are now like 6 and 9, are they going to go to the same school you did? And she said, it's $80,000 a year. And it's not Harvard. It's a top-tier school, but it ain't Harvard and it ain't Yale. And it's, $80,000 a year. So when somebody like you says Taxi is more valuable than getting, a college education on this subject, I always wonder, why weren't they teaching sync back then? And I stumbled on the
Yeah.
answer recently in a conversation with a library owner. It's because before Taxi, guys like you didn't get your music into TV shows. So there was no point in teaching you about it because there was no career path. There were a half a dozen composers, maybe 10 in New York, 10 in LA, that composed for the 10 or 15 libraries that were out there. And now there's 1,000 libraries and a whole bunch of composers out there because of one woman. A lady named Susan who owned a little music library that did well. It was small. It was like a 2 or 3 person company, but they were aggressive and they got a lot of syncs. And she called me one day in like 1995 and said, "Can you find me some horrific music?" And I said, "All day long." And she goes, "No, not that kind. I want the kind like you'd see in a horror show." And a Taxi member named Steve Clark from Van Nuys, California, using 8 tracks of digital on an Alesis ADAT and a Mackie 8-bus console, because that was state-of-the-art. Pro Tools didn't exist yet. And he got that stuff into her catalog and started making money with it. So that's when I started reaching out to other library owners going, you don't have to only use these 10 like super qualified specialist composers that only write for libraries. There are other people. Wouldn't you guys want some like rock stuff or hip hop stuff that didn't sound like it came out of an elevator speaker? Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's all because of that lady Susan calling me. I didn't have the idea. She just showed me the path, and I put all you guys on it, and you lived up to the promise. So yay you.
Thank you, Susan.
Yep. And she's still alive. We still talk. She's getting up there in her years, awesome. But she's still sharp as a tack. So give me another reason that you're so successful.
Yeah. The second one, and we already touched on it a little bit, but it's simply going to the road rally, which is the conference that Michael and his staff put on. It's completely free for every member. Like, that's part of your membership. And before I forget, I just got to tell everybody this. If you were to go to any other music conference, you would be $450 just for the registration. And then like some of them have little upgrades if you want the perks to go
like
to
one-to-one mentoring.
It's
right.
It's all just extra charges. And next thing you know, you're sitting at $600-700 to attend one conference. And while the conference may be great, the Taxi Road Rally is free with your membership. So it's basically costing you $300 if you're a first-year member, or $200 if you're in your second year or beyond. And even if that's the only thing you do with your membership is just use it for that ticket to the conference, you're coming out way ahead. So...
And
that's my little sales pitch.
Oh, thank you. I have to beg people to come every year, and I don't understand. They pay for Taxi, and then I have to beg them to come. It's like if there's anything in your entire life that could be that moment, has a reasonably decent probability of being that moment that changes everything and helps your dreams for having a career in music come true. It's the road rally. And yet people are like, oh, I won't know anybody. I'm going to feel out of place. Or, dude, I live in Rhode Island. It's a 5-hour flight. Like, wah. Get your butt on the plane.
Yeah. Guys, you have to go. So I'm living proof. I'm going to share 2 stories of why this conference was so important in my development. The very first year I went, I didn't know anybody, so I totally understand that feeling. I got into the hotel, and it seemed like everybody was talking with everybody, and it seemed to me like everyone knew everyone, and I was the only first-time outsider. That's what it felt like. And now looking back, it's like, nope, people were just talking to strangers. That's all it was. Like, some people know each other after a while, but I didn't know anybody, and I met one person that entire weekend. And
really?
That one person was a guy named James Koshin, who you mentioned just a little bit ago. He's still an amazingly good friend of mine. I was just out at the songwriting retreat that he puts on out in Green Bay, Wisconsin. James is an all-star. And I met him before he was an all-star. He was just a guy going to classes with me. And I got to know him because I bumped into him in the elevator and like sat next to him in some classes. And he's just like taking notes. I'm like, oh, is that what we should be doing? Taking notes? Okay, I guess I better take notes too. And he's the one guy I met. And he's also the guy who told me in kind of, he didn't use these words exactly, but he was like, dude, if you're beating your head against the wall trying to get into this path of the music business, which at that point I was trying to write these country songs for artists, seeing zero success. And he said, why are you going to keep beating your head against a wall when there is another path over here? You could just write instrumental cues for TV. Do you know that's a thing? He didn't say it quite like that, but and then this light bulb goes off. And so that was from the one guy that I met at my very first road rally. Like, what are the chances? But anytime you go to the rally, you have the chance of meeting that one guy in an elevator or sitting next to him in a class that could change everything for you. So then the next road rally I went to, I still didn't know anybody except James. He's the only guy I knew from my first one. And I met another guy who became incredibly pivotal and instrumental in my life, a guy named Chuck Henry.
Wow.
And Chuck is one of my best friends now, but I didn't know him when I first met him. This was 12 or 13 years ago. And we hit it off talking about college football, of all things, because we were watching college football in the lobby. They got like 4 TVs up there that are all
in the bar,
football season. Yeah, it's football season. The rally's happening on Friday and Saturday nights, and Saturday's full of college football, but there's Friday night games every now and then. And we started talking about college football, and then next thing I know, I'm sitting down with him, and he's listening to my music. I must have forced my CD on it at some point. And so he was gracious enough to sit down and listen to all my incredibly crappy music. And in the span of about 45 minutes, gave me this master class on what I was doing wrong, and not only what I was doing wrong, but why it was wrong. Like why my approach was not usable when making music for TV. Yeah. And then he showed me the right way to do it and explained why it was the right way, like in a very logical, applicable way. It's like, you got to do this because an editor is going to be looking for these things because it makes their job easier, for any number of reasons. So in 45 minutes, sitting down with Chuck, I got like the most in-depth hands-on tutorial. And that quite literally changed everything for me, because I came back home and I had like a laser focus and I knew what to do and what to avoid doing. And success just it just shot up like a rocket. And that is from meeting a guy in the lobby of the bar at the road rally. You're not going to find that opportunity anywhere else. Like you can't do that online in a Facebook or Instagram. Like it just doesn't happen. It's not the same thing. You got to meet people face to face, and you never know which of those people are going to change your life.
And there are a lot of them at the rally. It's not just that
There's
there
a
are,
lot of them.
just not those 2 guys. There are like 200 guys that are that knowledgeable.
They are
and
everywhere.
helpful. Yeah.
The odds of me meeting the only 2 people that could change my life. No, it's just there's hundreds of these Jameses running around. There's hundreds of Chucks, even though there's only one James and one Chuck. But there are other people like them all over the rooms and the halls of that conference. And the odds that you run into one of them are much higher than you think. Okay, this isn't like winning the lottery.
Right.
I mean, you just never know where things are going to lead. You could meet incredible co-writers and collaborators that end up getting your music onto a movie trailer or a movie. I mean, you just never know what doors are going to open. And there's something magical about being in the same room with people that cannot be replicated over a Zoom thing or a Instagram conversation. That there is no substitute for an in-person music conference. And the vibe of the Road Rally is just so different than any other music conference because it's incredibly helpful and friendly, and nobody is out there like flying their egotistical artist flag.
The leather pants with the cod piece going, my music is great and yours sucks. Yeah, that guy doesn't show up ever.
Yeah. You do see that at other music conferences. I've seen it. Yeah. And you see all the artists running around with their little artist attire at 11 a.m. and they're all decked out with their. I mean, come on, guys. I'm not an artist, so I wouldn't do that. But well, I don't know. I wear a costume too. It's just me being ridiculous. But I mean, I hope you guys know the difference. You don't see these types of people that often at the Road Rally. And for good reason, you know.
And if you do, you see them Thursday night during registration. They show up with the outfit on like I'm a rock star. And by Friday morning, they're dressed in like jeans and a hoodie because they realize it's just not that.
Uber out to the nearest Ross to get a wardrobe change.
Oh, man. Everything you said is so true, and yet we have to beg people to come. It's like we are begging you to let us help you change your life. Make your dreams come true. I know. And it eventually, well, it's not my company, so I got no skin in the game. But I've tried to convince people, you know, anytime I run into someone, join Taxi, go to the conference. And I can only say that to people so long before I get the old mentality of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And it's like the musical career that you might be desperate for is being served up on a silver platter, and you're just not going to be in the same room that silver platter is being handed around for the taking. It's a great analogy. And you know what? I think I understand the reason people don't come. There are two reasons. One is procrastination. Well, I don't know if I can get a day off of work. I don't know if my wife's going to be upset that I went to a conference without her. Bring your wife because you get 2 free tickets. Take her to Disneyland afterwards. Don't be a cheapskate. You know what? The one day at Disneyland will cost you more than Taxi for a year and the Road Rally and your travel expenses. It's gotten way out of hand as far as the pricing goes. But the other reason people don't come is the imposter syndrome. If I go, then people are going to hear my stuff and somebody might tell me I'm not good enough. I'm not there yet, which is the case for a lot of people, but you will never get there unless you find out where there is. And that's what the Road Rally does. Yeah. It shows you what the goal is and the path to get there. And you got to do a little work. You didn't start making, $50,000, $100,000 a year in the first year or two. It took you years to get there. Took a while to build that up. Yep. I had no idea that you've earned over $1 million since you joined Taxi. That's amazing. And I don't share that stat too often. Well, you did now. Well, I mean, it's accurate, but you just don't want people knowing all your personal details. So I was going to say one more thing. Sure. On this note, before I get off of the Taxi membership and the Road Rally, is I want everybody to know that I am in my 17th year of Taxi membership, and this will be my 14th Road Rally. Wow. And far too many people get into the Taxi world thinking that they got to see success in 1 year, and they give it 1 year. Yeah, and then plenty of time to evaluate whether it was useful to them. And or they go to one Road Rally and they say, no, I went to it once. It wasn't for me, or whatever. Or I learned everything that I could possibly learn in 1 year. Right. If I can be living proof of anything after 17 years of membership and just be, what did I say, 14th Road Rally? Yeah. You can't just do this stuff once and expect instant results, because the sheer timeline to seeing any type of success in this business monetarily, that's a 2-year timeline on its own.
And so you can't just be like, I'm going to try Taxi for a year, and then, you know, if I don't make my membership fee back, or whatever metric they want to use to judge it, then I'm going to be gone. And then, you know, they're gone. Of course they're gone, because the timeline in this business does not allow for instant success. So you got to be in this for the long haul. Come to the road rally once, then go to it the next year, then go to it the next year. And just don't be expecting this to be a one and done type situation, because you'll flame out and you'll be disappointed, and then you'll be back to doing whatever your current job is, with your music dreams still nothing more than dreams.
Yeah, well said. People do that 1 year metric that you mentioned. It's like, well, I tried it for a year. Well, how many submissions did you make? 4. So, well, and it got forwarded 3 times. So 3 people heard my music, and they fully expect that the industry is just, their jaw's going to drop and go, oh my gosh, where is this person? Got to get them, sign them up right now, give them the private jet, the briefcase full of $100 bills. It's not the way it works. And but that's the fantasy that has been perpetuated for decades. And it's very hard for people to let go of that, because when you're told something over and over and over and over again, it becomes reality. But I'm looking at you on my computer screen going, that's reality. Here's a guy that was a trumpet player, good enough trumpet player, you know, but not a composer, not a rock star, not a country hit songwriter kind of guy. But because the advice you got from James, you took the composer path and you turned on your computer. I remember this. Matt said, first time I turned on Pro Tools, I saw the logo on the screen, like on the splash screen, and I went, okay, now what? And he didn't even have a black and white keyboard, people. He was using this. I kid you not.
Yeah.
Playing the letter A for the note A.
Musical keyboard.
Oh, wow, you got a black one. Did they? I didn't know they made them in black, because the white ones
this is the fancy new one. Yeah.
Oh, wow, the white ones get dirty.
Yeah. So you get to my level, you can afford the black keyboard.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to have to give myself a raise.
Oh, and hey, check this out. Black mouse.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
This could be everyone's future. Black keyboard, black mouse.
Do you know, I still use this corded one from like 15 years ago. I've tried every Apple mouse they've ever made, and nothing feels as good in my hand and gives me the dexterity that I get from this old corded mouse. I like the way it fits in my hand. What can I say? Old dog, old tricks. Okay, so give us, what's your third thing that helped you become successful?
Okay, third one, and so I'm breaking these down into categories, and these first 3 are things that are available and accessible to anybody. Okay, so Taxi membership, Taxi road rally, and the third thing is the Taxi discussion forums.
And again, did I give you any prep for the show and tell you to plug Taxi in every one of these 5 things?
No, you didn't even tell me what the show was about till I got the email.
See, that's called TV production right there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, you didn't prep me at all for this, but I've said this so many times to so many people that I almost feel like a broken record here, but I'm sure new people are watching, so I'll just let that broken record keep playing. But the Taxi forums, if you guys haven't been there yet, it is the most constructive and helpful thing on the internet, I think, in terms of music production. You get to know actual people rather than like something on Reddit where everybody's got a fake funny avatar name and stuff just or Facebook where stuff just scrolls by and you might see it one day and you'll never find it again as much as you may try. Same thing for Instagram or any of those things. They're like, people always talk about, oh, you got to be on these things. Well, why? So I can see information that I'll never see again.
Right.
I always get so frustrated at those things because like I'll see, gosh, I don't know, a post from one of my friends and I won't be able to comment on it right away. And then I'll close the app and I'll go back in. It doesn't present itself to you So it's like you get to see it once, and if you
Yeah.
don't jump on it, then it's just completely gone. And what's beautiful about the taxi forums is it's got a couple beauties. I'm an old school guy. Like I still get my royalty checks in a hard copy check, like
Wow.
in an envelope in the mailbox. I don't do direct deposit. I'm a little old school like that. But the taxi forums are like the most charming old school thing, because it's just words. It's
Right.
words, and it's like a discussion forum from 1998.
But it's
And I'm not
constant,
saying
and
that's a
that's
bag
the,
on the.
yeah, and that stuff from 1998. Actually, I think the forum started in 2003, maybe, but it's the foundation
Okay.
of everything. That's the difference between social media and the taxi forum. First of all, I have yet to warm up to Reddit because it seems like the people there are very quick to jump on people. It's somebody recently said to me, it's like the Antifa of social media or something like that. And I went, really? I didn't know. So that weekend I went on there. It's like, yeah, people get bashed on there. The taxi forum.
Oh yeah, I mean you usually get a good laugh out of it, but yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, it is. But the taxi forum, because it started so long ago, it has these topics that are so rich. It's like if you bought the Encyclopedia Britannica and it automatically, magically updated all the information, added new stuff every year, it would be extremely valuable. That's what the taxi forum is. And you can go on there with any dumb question and nobody will treat you like you're a dum-dum for asking it because they asked it 9 years ago and they made that mistake and they're going to tell you how to avoid it. So you're right. It's rich with wisdom.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I credit the forums for a ton of my learning, because I jump on there with like little tracks that I was getting ready to submit to listings,
Right.
and I'd throw them in this, what is called the peer-to-peer section, which is just, you post your music and then let other people listen and critique it. And if you get in the habit of doing that before you submit your music, then you can iron out a lot of the mistakes that are, either compositional mistakes or sonics, overall sound of your production. You can fix that stuff before you submit it in, or before you submit it to a listing, and increase the odds that you get a forward.
Right.
Did
you ever have any?
The other way is just
right. Send it when it's send it when it's not ready, and then get pissed off when it gets rejected. You're right. Why not go to take every step you can to increase the odds of it being right? And what makes the forums unique are kind of like the vibe at the road rally, in that you don't get those guys with the leather pants and the cod pieces hanging out. You get a bunch of people who've been through it with, just like you're going through it, and they feel for you, and they actually they're the kind of people that if you got a flat tire in front of their house would come out, help you fix the tire, and then give you milk and cookies before you drove off. That's more the vibe of the taxi forum. So if you got this free resource from really good-hearted people that have been there and done that, and you don't have to worry. Nobody's going to go, dude, that was the dumbest question you could have possibly asked. It's just not like that.
Nope, not at all. And you'll get to know people. Like that's, as I started going back to more and more road rallies, it was the taxi forums that led me to know people before I even got there. And some of my favorite collaborators that I write music with to this day, I met them on the forums just through messaging. And so I'd never met them in person until we got to a road rally, and then we like hugged and said, "Oh, so that's what you look like." But my friend Owen, Terrell, Marcus, I could throw last names out there too, but can you guys hear these weird sounds? Someone's out mowing their lawn.
No, we can't. I can't hear it.
Anybody?
Then again, my wife says I don't hear anything. I'm not going to comment about that.
So I met all these great people through the forums, and we just workshopped each other's music on there. And then that led to collaborations, and that led to friendships that are over a decade long now. And they've probably 100 or 200 pieces of music with these guys. And it's free. It's right there at your fingertips. So I say this is all accessible to people because it is. You don't have to jump through any special hoops. You just go to the frickin' website and start typing. Like, it's as simple as that.
And the only time people will give you a hard time is if you start the fight. About once a year, we'll get somebody who doesn't understand
There's always one.
Yeah, how warm and wonderful this community of people and how helpful they are. And you get this guy who has been on Reddit. I don't mean to trash Reddit. I'm sure that there are great people on Reddit as well. But people who have seen the obnoxious rhetoric and the my music's better than yours, and dude, you call that a mixed crowd. And they come with that ethos over to the Taxi forum, and they try and act like that to like, it's kind of like marking their territory. That usually lasts for about a day or two, and then everybody's like, dude, that's not the vibe here. And
yeah, it's fairly well self-policed.
Yeah,
and
we don't police it at all. Unless I get like 3 members reaching out to me saying we got a real problem, I never go in and police it. Nobody from the staff does either.
Yeah, yep. So I mean, every now and then there is a bad apple that rolls through there, but they're pretty quick to get chased out. And I'm not saying we're like running around kicking people. Yeah, but and I give huge credit to guys like Casey and Mark. You guys know who they are if you're forum regulars. Those guys keep it real, and we just, and I try to as well. And
you do. I see you in there.
Helpful.
Yeah,
I'm there all the time. Yeah.
I know. I laugh in a good way. I mean, it was recently, today's Monday. I was on there yesterday afternoon, sitting on my couch, with a football game on in the background, the sound turned off, and reading, catching up on stuff on the forum. And I go, man, Vander Boegh does not need to be here. But you're knitted into that community, and I hate to put words in your mouth, but I think you feel a sense of gratitude and responsibility. If this forum was good to me, then I should be part of the goodness of the forum for other people, maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I just try to always pay back the people and the things that helped me so much. Because not only did they help give me this career, but I wholeheartedly believe in it. And what makes those things great is the people. And so if I can kind of give back to that environment a little bit by still being active in the forums and speaking at the road rally and teaching some classes and being on panels, if I can do anything I can to pay back some of the debt of gratitude that I have to these things, I'm more than happy to do it. And I'll still come up in debt at the end of the day.
Well, you are definitely one of the best examples of the pay it forward vibe in the community. People always, when you try and force a community to happen or build one, you've got a vision for a community and you try and make it happen, it rarely does. But all it takes is a few good people that are the Johnny Appleseeds of a true organic, God, I've been living in California way too long. A true organic community, which the Taxi Forum is. We've never imposed our voice on it or our will on it. And the same thing with the Road Rally. People always say to me, Michael, it's so amazing. All these great people showing up. Good job. And I say, no, you don't understand. We figure out what the panels are going to be about. We reach out to people and ask them to be on the panels, teach the classes, do the one-to-one mentoring, do the mentor lunches and all that stuff. But the minute the door opens up to that hotel, it takes on a life of its own that is, I don't give it direction other than offering high quality everything. We always try to make everything high quality, and I think that attracts high quality people, and that's where the organic growth of such a warm, wonderful, supportive community has come from.
Yeah. Yep.
I right about now, we're about a month out from the rally. This is the time of year where I start waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning going, what did I not remember? What did I not remember? Every year, like clockwork now. And I admit, Angel, who is our CFO, she does the lines up the mentors and the classes, and I do the ballroom stuff. And then we kind of merge about a month out to see, okay, well, if you need Vander Boegh on stage at 11, I can't have him doing one-to-one mentoring from 10 to 1. So how are we going to solve that problem? We use I've been using ChatGPT, and had the genius idea. I put all the documents in ChatGPT and said, find the conflicts. And it did. Oh, and to make things even worse, the hotel renamed all the little meeting rooms and ballrooms have different names this year.
That. It's like the Los Angeles ballroom or something.
Yeah, so all the documentation we had, which is considerable. I mean, we have a thing called the Rally Bible that the staff gets. It's like a 45-page script of every 15 minutes of the entire rally. Where every staff member needs to be, what they need to be doing. And don't forget, bring that microphone and cable from this classroom over to the theater on the second floor because somebody needs that at 2:15, and make sure that's been plugged in and tested before you leave. Come back downstairs and get your next assignment, blah, blah, blah. So all these myriad details go into it. And it's all these documents are driven by the names of the room because we've been going to that hotel for, I don't know, 20 years maybe, and now the rooms are called something else. Oy vey. But ChatGPT said, hey, you got conflicts going on with your rooms, and I said, fix it. And it did. So, yay.
Brilliant. Yeah. Good robots.
Did we do number 3 yet?
That was number 3. Yeah.
Okay, what's number 4?
So number 4. So this is where things start to get into a little bit more of not so much accessible to everybody, but maybe a version of it will be available to you or will present itself. But I can't understate the importance of having a good teacher or a mentor. And it doesn't need to be someone that you're paying $200 a month like a counselor. You don't even need to meet with this person like regularly. For me, I sat down with Chuck Henry for 45 minutes and everything changed. And then I never really talked to him about music again. From that point on, we were just friends being idiots together.
And you guys do that so well.
Yeah, after 13 years of knowing this goofball, we go on cruises together every year, and we were just on one a couple months ago for 5 or 6 days. Never once talked about music.
Wow.
Not once.
I don't want to hear what you did talk about. Look at that. A guest star.
We got a guest. Hey, it's Espen, my daughter.
Hey, how are you, Espen? Oh my gosh.
Here, come stick your head in here. Come say hi to everybody.
I've known this kid since almost birth. Hi, Espen. How are you?
Yeah.
I heard your dad told me
we still have that little Mickey Mouse stuffed animal plushie that you gave her when you came out to Idaho the first time.
And I heard you're doing great in baseball.
Volleyball.
Volleyball. Sorry. Well, hold on. I got to show you guys something. It actually came untaped and fell off the wall the other day, but see if I can find this. Check this out, Espen.
Here, you want to come to the microphone?
I still keep the cards that your dad sends me with you and him in it every year. And they're right here next to my desk at all times. So thanks for sending good vibes, kiddo.
Hey. Yeah, she's home with me. So I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing today. You should come up and say hi if you want to.
Awesome.
Like, yeah, I'll do that.
I'm glad you did. How tall are you now?
5 foot something.
Yeah, 5 foot something, 5'1" or
Wow. Growing like a weed.
Taller than everybody her age.
How old are you? 9 or 10?
10.
10, that's right. Wow. It's amazing how time flies when kids are involved. It's like, they're born and you think, wow, this is a lot of work, a lot of responsibility, a lot of sleepless nights. And before you know, it's like, give me the keys to the car. And then it's send me to college. And then they get married and bye, Aspen. Good to see you. And then, yeah, I've got
I know.
four daughters and one more wedding to pay for. The good thing about daughters is they're really easy, Mike. I've got grandsons that are just wild little guys, just like, oh my God, always very, very physical. Whereas the girls would sit in the corner and have tea parties, different vibe, not wild, not physical. But then you get to pay for weddings.
Very different vibe.
Yep. Anyway, okay, back to, so did we do number 4?
Oh yeah, so number 4, which was never underestimate the power of meeting a person
right,
who could tell you how to do things the right way. And I'm under no illusions that people are going to have the same magical moment that I had when I met Chuck Henry and he told me how to do all this stuff. And in 45 minutes later, the light bulbs, I had so many light bulbs going off in my head. I was lit up like the freaking 4th of July. But that might not happen for everybody, but you will meet people down the road rally that could fill that role in some capacity. But nonetheless, if I can segue into a shameless plug self-promotion here.
Yeah.
I try to give everybody all the mentoring that I can on my YouTube channel, which I'll plug the name here. It's Matt's Music Minute. If you would all go there and subscribe, I would very much thank you for doing that.
I said it right up front. I endorse it because
I would tell people
quality information. You're not blowing smoke and you're not doing it for money.
Right. Yeah. There's no money, right? Like I did finally get the channel monetized. So, and I have $160 in my YouTube bank. I don't even know how to get the money. Like I got to send some documentation in. I don't know. So I'm really not making anything. It's paper money right now, but there is no charge to people. You just get on the YouTube channel and watch my videos. And what I've tried to do, because over the years, I've had so many people come up to me through email, usually through my website, saying, hey, can you mentor me? Do you have a mentorship program? And I personally don't care for mentorship programs. I think, I'm going to save that rant for when I got 6 or 7 beers. But I just feel icky about charging people for anything that I know, because I don't know. I got this information by figuring it out. I didn't pay someone for it. And if I can help someone, I'll help them. And I'm not going to charge people for it. But I couldn't do this for everybody that wanted me to.
Not enough hours in the day, and you got a kid.
And I don't have my heart is big, but it ain't that big. To sacrifice all the time for strangers. So I thought, what I could do is I could just make a YouTube channel, and everything that I have learned throughout 15 years or however long in this business, I could just make a little 8 to 12 minute video about it, just a quick lesson, and then make it available for people. So my YouTube channel is my mentorship program, if you want to think of it that way. And you don't have to pay a dime. You don't even have to buy me a drink at the road rally, although I always thank people for the offers, but save that $50 that it would cost you for the drink. Spend it on something better, and just watch the videos, and hopefully you learn something. That is my replacement for people maybe not having a situation like bumping into Chuck Henry and spending 45 minutes with him.
And you don't have to. You had an exceptional moment bumping into him, and the fact that you guys have been friends for 15 years and are close friends says something. You guys, in Judaism, there's a word in Hebrew, a word called beshert, which means like the one you were destined to meet, and they say that about couples that meet. She's your beshert. Meant it was supposed to happen that way. So I will tell you that on Friday, November 7th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Road Rally, we have Adam Zelkind, who has had his music on
love Adam.
more TV shows than any other composer in the history of ASCAP. Bob Meddy, a highly focused, successful member who's a great mentor. These are people who are all available as mentors, the Road Rally. Chris Long, I met him when he was 19 years old, and he was an A&R scout for a major label, and he's still in the industry like 35 years later. And just really good with like rock and roll record label stuff. Chuck Schlachter from Nashville, a Taxi member that has gotten a lot of placements, has a small little catalog of his own. James Koshin, the aforementioned James Koshin. Jeff Freundlich, the world's foremost expert on vintage music, recorded before the 90s, all the way back to the 30s. Jim Thacker, who you know, Jim is another Taxi member that started to become more opportunities coming his way than music he could make, so he started his own company. Joe Brandt.
Yeah, I just got to say, I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Jim, and what he's doing with his little company is absolutely tremendous for a guy who just kind of got into that side of things not that long ago, really, in the overall scheme of it.
Yeah.
But he's moving and shaking, man. Jim,
absolutely.
Hats off to you, dude.
I think you're on a panel with him. I'm pretty sure, doing that from memory.
Oh,
cool. Joe Brandt, a music supervisor, music library guy. Josiah Rosen, one of our screeners who is highly regarded by all the other screeners. Liz Redwing, another A&R label person. Owen Chame, who is a Taxi member that kind of came up in the same class as you did. Peter Neff, a longtime Taxi screener, himself a highly accomplished composer. Randon Purcell is going to be here this year. He wasn't there last year. He's doing a thing on music for trailers and TV promos. So if you want to know more about how to make music for TV trailers and promos, you show up, you book him as your mentor, and you sit down with him. And now you've got an introduction. Let's see, who else? Ronan Chris Murphy, Stephanie Reed, who's the vice president of one of the most kick-ass production music libraries out there. Steve Block, a veteran Nashville publisher that knows everybody on the road.
I got to meet Steve Block out in Green Bay.
You're kidding.
And I met him once at the Road Rally last year for about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But we spent the whole weekend together in the same cabin and everything.
Oh, wow.
He is such a cool dude.
Isn't he? I've literally known him for 30 years. Awesome. Yep. Wow. He and I are going to do Before They Were Hits again. And, I can't think of the other guy who came last year that we all loved. Anyway, that guy, whose name escapes me, is not coming. So I booked Rob Shirelli on that Before They Were Hits thing. And he's bringing some multi-track masters of big records that he's going to play some stuff.
Awesome.
Tracy and Vance Marino. Just you get it. Just like all these people, you come. You're right. You said it earlier. At other conventions, you pay. I think when the ASCAP Expo was still a thing, you paid $500 or $450 to go to it, and then like $35 for a 15-minute session with a mentor on top of it. All the stuff is free at the Road Rally. Yep. And you don't only get that 15 minutes. You get the introduction, and then you see them at the bar later and go, I had a follow-up question. They'll answer it for you.
Right. And I just got to say, that list of people you rattled off there is like a who's who of the TV music business. And where else are you going to find all these people under one roof for one entire weekend? Like, these are all people that could, I don't want to say like your career hinges on meeting them, but it could be that a chance meeting with someone launches something for you in the music world. And you just never know. But these are all A-list people. To think that they're all going to be in one place is just mind-blowing.
And, hold on. I happen to have the documents sitting here today because I was working on them before we started the show. I won't repeat. All the people I just mentioned are also going to be mentors at the mentor lunch, which is called the Eat and Greet Lunch, where we have like 20 tables of 10 people each, and we put a mentor at each table, and then every 15 minutes we bang on a cowbell or blow a whistle or something, and all the mentors get up and move to the next table. So each table typically gets like 6 or 7 or 8 mentors during the 2-hour lunch, maybe 2.5 hours, whatever it is. So all those people I just mentioned, plus Jim Thacker, plus James Koshin, plus Greg Carrozza, plus Chuck Henry. I've added a new person this year, Christine Wu, who is like a world-class violinist and orchestrator. When Game of Thrones did that big orchestral tour they did all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
She was the principal violinist that got to stand up in the front of the stage wearing the Game of Thrones outfit, playing all the solos and stuff. She started out as Rob Shirelli's assistant 19 years ago. He met her at a road rally. And she became...
Come on now.
Yeah, and she ended up, I mean, she calls him her oracle. And she said, without you and Taxi and the road rally, I never would have met the oracle. And she's had an incredible career. She was like, I think, first chair in the Houston Symphony, played the St. Louis Symphony, has played on major motion pictures, on the Newman scoring stage and stuff. And so she's a mentor. Let's go down the list. All the other people we mentioned before, but these are people at the luncheon. Matt Vander Boegh's doing a lunch.
Hey.
Ron Harris.
That guy.
Yeah, Ron Harris, who's produced multi-platinum records. Let's see.
Ron bought me a soda or something sparkling water a couple years ago, and I still need to pay him back for that.
Well, he'll be
the interest
there.
on that's probably a $20 soda by now.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it just blows my mind that these people are all. They don't look down their nose at anybody. Their attitude is more like, hey, man, any question you got, throw it at me and I'll see if I can help you. And the fact that we have members all over the world that do come, and yet the majority of Taxi members don't come. And I just wonder why. So anyway, enough of the road rally stuff. What's your number 5?
Okay, so number 5. This one might be harder to replicate, but you still can. When I was still teaching at Boise State, I got I was teaching communication classes, largely the more theoretical stuff, but still kind of artsy, like film studies. Not that I knew much about film studies, but I got thrown into teaching that class and some other things. There was a guy who ran the audio production department, which at that time had just 2 classes. They were called Introduction to Audio Production and Advanced Audio Production. Now, I took both of those as an undergrad, and it didn't really prepare us for any type of musical thing, but it did teach you how to run a board. So, I mean, it was fun. Anyways, that guy finally got to retirement age, and so he announced his retirement, and then there was this gaping hole in the staff to fill these 2 audio production classes. And people knew that I was a musician and trying to make inroads into a music career by producing my own music. And at this point, I had not been producing for long, like maybe 2 years.
Wow.
And I still didn't know that much about what I was doing. I mean, I would pull up compressors and I would like hit presets, not knowing what they did, like under the hood. I just knew that there was a sonic difference in things, but not knowing what caused that difference or what what's going on under the hood of a car. As you're driving a car, I push the gas and away I go. But a mechanic is going to understand how everything works. So when it came to music production, I didn't know anything about how any of this stuff worked, and I barely had a passing knowledge of how to even create something in Pro Tools. But because people knew that I was doing this to some extent, which was more experience than anybody else on the staff had, they said, well, Matt, why don't you take over these audio production classes? And I was like, holy crap, I am in way over my head. Now, you want to talk about imposter syndrome. I was so worried that I was going to get in teaching these classes to students that were going to know way more than I did. And I was quickly going to be called out for being an imposter or a complete hack, which those would have been very accurate descriptions of where I was at. So knowing that I had to teach these classes, I created a curriculum from scratch and went through a 16-week course and basically picked out one element of production and taught it for a 3-hour-long night class. And in order to teach it, I had to understand it to a level, like a deep enough level that if I got asked a question from the class, I would know the answer to it.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to be in a position where someone asked a question and I had to admit that I was a freaking idiot.
That's where you
Even
put
though,
a
I mean,
school.
that was the reality.
You put a classes over bell
Yeah.
on your phone and ring it as soon as the question gets asked.
And we're done. I'll get to that question next week. So this, by forcing myself to teach material and know it inside and out so that I could answer questions by a group of 20-something-year-old students, I learned all about every aspect of music production. And that's, I don't even know if I've ever told you this story.
No,
Michael.
you haven't.
That's really what I credit, like getting my production chops up to the level they are now. Well, other than years of experience at this point, it was just me being paralyzed with fear over the fact that I was teaching a class and had no clue what I was teaching. And I was like, gosh, if students realize that I know nothing, then I'll never teach these classes again. I'll be ran out of town. So if I could impress upon you guys any type of lesson from this, is not that you need to run out and teach college classes, but just try to teach an aspect of your software to somebody.
Oh, that's a great
Try to
suggestion.
tell someone the way a compressor works. Like, this is a sound. Let me play a sound. Now here's a compressor. And when I do this, this is what's happening. This is called gain reduction. And this Q stands for this curvy thing. So, I mean, you learn all that stuff if you teach it. No, I'm sure technical terms, not the curvy thing.
I love it.
But by forcing yourself to teach something, you are going to learn it much more than just dabbling with buttons. Does that make any sense? I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. There's nothing about that I would argue with. I fully endorse it. I think that when I started doing TAXITV 15 years ago, live streaming 15 years ago, I felt the same exact way because I never know what questions are going to get asked in the chat room. Where did the chat room go, by the way? I was fixing something. Oh, there. Anyway, and I don't want to be a fraud, and say, oh, class is over. So I had to educate myself. I still don't know anything about MIDI. All of my experience in audio was back when we used 2-inch tape, microphones, wires. It was all analog, SSL and Neve consoles. But just about the industry in general and stuff, I have to be knowledgeable enough because when you're the person on camera or standing up in front of the class, that's where the questions go. And, every now and then you can say, honestly, I don't know the answer to that one. And be honest about that. But you can't do that 5 times in a class. I was laughing today.
Every single question.
No, but I think there are probably some professors out there that get away with that for a while, maybe forever after they get tenured. Yep. I don't know. Anyway, I was laughing to myself a little bit when you said, yes, you're available to do the show today, because I admire the work that you've done on your YouTube channel. And the reason I was laughing is you're probably at the point now where you're going, I covered that topic. Oh, I covered that topic. What more could I say about this? It's hard to keep coming up with fresh material and not be repetitive.
Yeah.
And during the COVID lockdown, when I did the Quarantini happy hours 5 days a week for a couple of years, you cannot imagine how stressful it was to keep coming up with fresh topics. But the chat room lent a lot of the vibe to that. Just it all goes back to what you started with today, which is the people. If they're good people and they are inherently the type of people who give back to the community and appreciate a community, then that becomes more important than the actual education, because the education comes along with the community. So one is the foundation and the other one puts the roof over you, and then you walk through the door. I say it every year at the road rally. I didn't make the road rally as great as it is. All I did was built the foundation, built the barn, and open up the door. And after that, it was all about you guys with that pay it forward mentality that made it what people say is the best conference out there anywhere. So yay, you guys.
Yep. Yeah.
So that was number 5, right?
That was number 5. Yeah. Can I just tell a brief story?
Yeah, you can tell. We've got 12 minutes and change, so you can tell a less than brief story, and then we can do some Q&A with the people in the chat room.
Well, this goes to the topic of having good people at the top that you look up to feeds into the culture that flows underneath it. So Espen, my daughter, just finished up a volleyball season. It was a very quick 4-week season, and her team had 11 girls on it, and about 6 of those girls had never played volleyball before.
Wow.
And Espen has, so she was already started off as like one of the all-stars, but the coach who was in charge of these girls, he was the only guy that put I might be interested in coaching on the form. And since nobody else did, he got thrown into the coaching role, and he didn't even have it. His daughter was on the team, but it was his stepdaughter.
Okay.
So, I mean, how often do you see a stepdad stepping up to do something like this? This guy, and he was very upfront with all the parents and all the girls. He's like, I don't know anything about volleyball, but we're going to have fun. And
wow,
first practice was, I was like, oh my goodness, what kind of train wreck have we just signed up for? Like, this is bad. Well, I guess the girls will learn how to lose. But the guy was, I mean, he was like my personality. He was very energetic and very supportive of the girls. He didn't really know how to coach them, but he knew how to support them. Okay. And it was just, he was tatted head to toe, tats everywhere coming up his neck. And wow. But he was just a genuinely kind, energetic dude. And he also realized that, hey, I'm going to need some help here. So Espen's mom actually was a volleyball coach. So she jumped in and helped him. And then I would jump in and help. And like, it was me, believe it or not, me and Espen's mom and this other guy were like running drills for these girls. And they had so much fun, and because the energy was funneling from the top down, the girls just had an absolute blast. And at every game, they were like cheering on the side. They were the only team that had team cheers. They were like, let's go to, like, like cheerleader cheers. They were chanting that stuff on every play. Everyone was high-fiving. When you missed something, Espen was coming up and giving someone a high five. Like, it's all right, you get it next time. And because of that, that team went undefeated.
Unbelievable.
Played a completely undefeated season, and half the team had never touched a volleyball before. But that just shows you what happens when you have good vibes from the top. It trickles down to everyone, and it brings the best out of people. And to try to relate this to what's going on here, Taxi is that vibe. And it brings everybody up because it's such a helpful and energetic environment and culture that you really have to be going out of your way to not progress because the culture is there just to lift you up by default.
That was really well said. You have to go out of your way not to progress. But it's sad that people will choose that path. And I really think it goes back to the imposter syndrome, making them feel like if I submit my music, I'm going to find out that I'm not as good as I say I am to my family and friends, or maybe as I think I am. So what? If you find, but wouldn't, if the end result is you start earning money and getting placements in TV shows all over the world, can't you suck it up a little bit and go, I wasn't as good as I thought I was, but now I am, and the proof is in the pudding. I don't get it. You inspired me to have a thought about 45 seconds ago, which was people go on Trustpilot, which is kind of a replacement for the Better Business Bureau, I guess, these days. And people who are upset with Taxi because they didn't get a piece of music forwarded that they thought was a sure bet, or I submitted 4 things and I didn't make any money. I didn't become Matt Vander Boegh. And they go on places like Trustpilot to tear Taxi down because it makes them feel better, which is a pretty sad state of affairs. But people do that. That's one of the, with the internet, you get the good and the bad. So if everybody watching today, I've never asked for this kind of favor, but if you could go to trustpilot.com, I haven't looked at it in months, but the last time I looked at it was probably around the first of the year. That's one of the things I do the week between Christmas and New Year's, is I kind of take stock of the bigger picture. And the last time I looked at Trustpilot, we had like a 3.7 out of 5 stars. And I would love us to, when I hear you talking, I go, man, I'm so proud of the fact that somebody out there gets it, that we're running a 5-star company over here. So for those of you who are watching today, could you take 2 minutes, go to Trustpilot, and give us what you think we deserve? I'm not asking you to give us 5 stars. If you think we deserve 4, give us 4. But it helps counterbalance the person who started out saying, if I could give them a 0, I would, because the thing is a total scam. It's not a scam.
Right.
Our members that come to the road rally know it's not a scam. It's never even been close to a scam. But it breaks my heart. It hurts me more than it should, because that's like somebody holding up your daughter and saying awful things about her in public. That this company means that much to me because I built it with my own 2 hands. So take a moment, if you would be so kind, go to Trustpilot. And now back to our regular programming. Thank you. Do you want to take a couple questions from the chat room?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my volleyball story cut into our Q&A time.
But that was a great story. That was like, wow. You talked to me about Espen. You've told me that the team is doing great this year, but I had no idea that they started out like the Bad News Bears, and just it's a great story. You should do a little little documentary for your YouTube channel, about.
I should have.
Yeah, the fact that this guy has never coached volleyball before and gets up there and goes, I want all you parents to know I don't know anything about nothing. And then you end up being the best team because of team spirit. Yep. That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so questions. Here's one from Marion Laird. Does Matt play mariachi-style trumpet? I need a trumpeter. She's obviously going to submit for the mariachi thing.
Thank you for thinking of me, Marion, but sadly, no. I've never played mariachi. If I had music in front of me, I could maybe come passably close to it. I don't know. That would be so far out of my wheelhouse that you'd be better off finding someone who's lives and breathes that stuff.
Yeah, and you'd have to drink, if you were going to do, you'd have to do a bunch of shots of tequila, because mariachi everything always sounds a little drunk. It's like a little bit not in tune, it's a little bit not on the beat, but yet you put it all together and it's like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Here's one from Nancy.
Thank you though, Marion. Thanks for thinking of me.
Nancy Simone. Matt, how do you schedule your composing/production time and your family time and other responsibilities? Yeah, how do you do that, Matt? And not to mention your bodybuilding career.
Yeah, Well, luckily the bodybuilding career is in the end of an off season. So I got done competing in the end of May, and I have hardly been to the gym since. So you guys are going to see me in November and be like, yeah, right. This guy, bodybuilder, whatever.
Just
looks
bring
like
pictures.
a tub of lard. Anyways, yeah, good question about the balance. So I've answered a similar question, well, I would say quite regularly in the past, but people must be genuinely curious if the question keeps coming up. And it's a very valid question, because like, how do you juggle time with your family versus your desire to make a career? And gosh, I'm going to give you an answer that's probably not much of an answer, but I was lucky enough to build this thing to what it is now, that I don't have to work that hard anymore. And I don't want that to sound like egotistical or anything, but I really don't put that much time into it anymore. And that's because I paid the dues for this when Espen was like 0 through 5 years old. And I built this little one-man business up to a level where the royalties now will keep coming in for me, whether I do any work or not. Like, and you always want to keep feeding the pipeline, because this will dry up at some point if I don't keep giving music to the world. But I could really probably take, gosh, I don't know, conservatively 3 to 4 years off completely, not doing anything, and that money will still be at a livable level. And because of that, I've cut my productivity way down, because I just want to spend time with my daughter. Yeah. And when she's at volleyball practice, I want to be at volleyball practice watching her. Like, not every parent does that. There were like 3 kids with their parents sitting there at every practice. And me and Espen's mom we're always there just watching our daughter. And I don't want to miss that stuff. And so I never put work ahead of family.
Good for you.
But I can do that because I put all the work in years ago, and I'm now reaping the benefits of it.
Hey, you worked crazy hours at the beginning. I remember you were obsessive.
I was a workhorse, you guys, like almost to probably an unhealthy level. I just never stopped, but it was my outlet at the time, because that was like counseling for me. And I was, and not everybody knows I'll just say this: the situations people find themselves in, due to no fault of their own, can often be very dicey and taxing on your sanity. And I was in some situations. Won't go into that here, but
I could.
Pouring myself into the work was the way I was able to basically cope with things, by just becoming a workaholic. Now, I'm sure if I talk to any counselor, they'd be like, that's a horrible coping mechanism. But you know what? It's allowed me to have this amazing life all these years later. But I would seriously work from sun up till sundown 7 days a week. And I just take little breaks for food and bathroom pit stops. And I don't do that anymore. I have no desire to do that anymore.
When you told me Espen's mom is one of the 3 parents there on the sidelines at the soccer practices and cheering the team on, I never thought in a million years that you guys would be within shouting distance of each other. So I'm glad that's worked out. That is a true happy ending.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
No one's more shocked than me, probably. But,
I can't believe you haven't told me that.
I'm glad things are where they're at.
That's awesome. That's great news. And the proof is also in the pudding, in the form of Espen herself. I mean, she's a sweet, nice, normal kid growing up with, family values in a small town setting. Matt lives outside of Boise, 15, 20 minutes outside of the city, maybe. And I've been there twice now, and you ride around. It's like anywhere small town America. It just has that vibe. It's like you drive down the street. Oh, there's a guy mowing his lawn. lawn. I know him, It's pretty cool.
Oh, there's Bob. Hey,
Yep.
Bob.
Very, very awesome. Well, it's time to wrap up. Thank you so much for doing this on short notice, especially. I had somebody booked that couldn't do it, and I called Matt the other day and go, I got an opening. And he thought he had a practice and couldn't do it, and then called me back, said, you still got the slot? I'm in. So that's
I'll take it.
yeah, part of the lack of prep. Not to mention, we are right in the absolute thick of getting ready for the road rally, literally a day or two away from putting up all the documents. But you guys, you heard it from Matt, not from me. You'll hear it from me as well. But last year, people said it was probably the best road rally ever. I feel pretty darn confident that this year is going to be even better than last year. And that is not me trying to persuade you. That's not marketing hype. It's just when you're putting it together and this person says, yeah, I'll come and do that. And somebody else goes, yeah, I'll come and do it. The quality of people that are going to be the teachers, the panelists, the mentors, the mentor or the eat and greet lunch people this year is exceptional. Literally to the person, they are all those pay it forward kind of people. If there was ever a road rally not to be missed, this is the one. And don't think to yourself, wow, it sounds pretty tempting, but money's a little tight. I'll go next year. As I've said before in TAXITV, I'm the kind of person that has never had a balance on my credit cards unless I was unemployed. Racked up a good one then. The road rally, I would say if you had to hit your credit card with $1,000 and pay it off, it'll be well worth it. And I am fiscally very conservative, but I recommend that you do that because it will pay you back if you do it.
I can't recommend it highly enough. And please don't be one of those people that says, I'll do it next year. Because you know how many people have said that through the years, and they keep saying over and over and over again until they finally go, if they finally go, and they're like, gosh, dang it, I should have done this 10 years ago.
I forgot. We are going to give away, didn't I mention?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
We're having dinner with somebody.
Yes. Gosh, good thing I remembered that the last second. Okay, one lucky viewer, the live episode will win a private dinner in the Westin LAX Hotel's presidential suite with Matt and Michael during the road
Just
rally.
what you want.
What?
I said just what everybody wants.
Well, yeah,
dinner with me.
I would have dinner with you. It'd be a lot of fun and learn something. And for dessert, I said in the email that we will listen to some of your music and give you feedback. So let's do that right now. You've got to be somebody who's coming to the road rally, okay? See if there's anything else I left out of there. I don't think... if for some reason, if you're the winner and you don't make it to the road rally, which, I mean, what's the phrase? Pain of death, I think. No, if you can't make it to the road rally, we'll do a Zoom with you. But having a dinner with this guy and something good. I'm not talking about Domino's Pizza. So there you go.
Like I said earlier about being in the same room. It's just there's going to be, if me and Michael are having dinner with someone, oh my goodness, this being in that room, we could probably sell tickets to this dinner, Michael. Come on now.
We probably could. We could invite Chuck and sell them for even more money. Anyway, okay, so here's how we're going to do it. Everybody gets to type this in one time. Don't sit there and go bink, 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 bink. Don't tilt the scale, as it were, or put your thumb on the scale. Type the letter M, and then Liz is going to shut her eyes, put the flying fickle finger of fate on the chat room thing, go up and down, stop it, and wherever it lands, that person wins. So if you're not coming to the road rally, don't type an M.
Is nobody entering the drawing?
No, a lot of people. Keith LeBrant put an M in there.
Oh, good. Keith, come on now.
I know so many of these people.
I would love to have dinner with anybody in this crew.
Wow, John Iger's in there. Hey, John.
I can't see any of the chat, you guys. So if you're saying anything to me, I can't see it. But hello to everybody.
Now, they're not saying it. They're all typing the letter M. And Liz is asking if everybody has typed because we don't want to have any stragglers. It's funny, John Iger's daughter met the person she married at the road rally. My daughter, Sarah, who's now 40 or 41, met her husband at the road rally. There are some road rally babies. How many conferences can say that? LeBrat says, bring your own pizza. Mark Williams or Mac Williams says, how about two winners? Jesse J. Peck, I won't be at the rally. It's the lack of trust in California more than it is taxi. Things are crazy out here. They really are. Things are crazy all over. It's just, I don't think this country has ever been such a crazy state as we've been in like the last 3-4 years. Just weird stuff. Okay, and the winner is Pekka. Well, why don't you give me a name I can pronounce without embarrassing? Pekka, P-E-K-K-A. Last name is Houvinen. Who? I'm decent with. I can't pronounce it. Pekka. I'm so sorry. Pekka, where are you coming from? Pekka's like, what? Where do you live? And I hope that you're coming to the road rally. Congratulations. Boy, are you in for a treat. And I don't mean it sounded sarcastic, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
This is like the grand prize of all grand prizes right here.
Oh, she's from Finland.
I better wear a
Awesome.
tuxedo.
Wow.
What'd she say?
What?
What'd you say?
Yeah, that. I think is Pekka a man or a woman? That's funny. We've got a member named Uwe Shai. He's definitely retirement age. I'm a man, by the way. Okay. And Uwe, I fell in love with this guy. I started reading his stories when I was doing the member success stories for the newsletter. He lives within the Arctic Circle in a town of 4,000 people. And this gentleman, who is retirement age, has nailed down like 4 major TV commercials, had never done anything professionally with his music, to the best of my knowledge, before Taxi. But in the last 2 years, he's landed 4 big TV commercials. And I'm so delighted. That's the love that Taxi brings to the world. That somebody who lives in the friggin' Arctic Circle, in a town of 4,000 people, has no like history in the music industry. Wow. Has nailed down 4 commercials. Anything is possible. All right, Pekka, you have to come to the road rally and have dinner with Matt and myself, and we'll order some lutefisk. I think that's what it's called. What do they call that when like cabbage not marinates? When they make kimchi, they bury it underground. Ferments.
Oh,
there's like this fermented fish that's big, and maybe it's Norway. I don't know. I think it's called lutefisk. Swedish. There you go. Marion Laird knows everything. Can always count them. She's like the Encyclopedia Britannica. Wow, Pekka's a couple hours from the Arctic Circle. You should, send an email to liz@taxi.com. I want to introduce you to Uwe. And you guys, for all we know, you guys could live close to each other. I can't remember if he lives in Norway or Finland or where, but we're going to figure it out. Anyway, Matt, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I love hanging out with you. The couple times that I've been to Nampa, last time I went to Matt's house, and he does like a monthly-ish get-together for about 20 people. And nicest group of people, and they had really pointed, good, hard questions for me, and I just love meeting all of them. And then afterwards, we went to Steve's studio, and I literally, it's like, honey, I'm never coming home. I'm moving into this studio. He and I definitely.
Oh gosh, I wish I would have had a video camera going, because you two were just
like
in
soulmates,
that audio
yeah.
producer's zone.
Absolutely.
Like, what am I witnessing here?
I know, we're of a similar vintage, and we grew up with the same kind of gear. I was in heaven. I called Kim Tibbs, who is one of the world's great B3 players, and told her about his B3 and that Leslie. Just anyway, all right, Matt, I will see you in a month, my friend. Thank you again for doing this. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, would you please? And also know that next week we're going to have another mentor. Ronan Chris Murphy is going to join me for a Taxi TV about engineering, mixing, and mastering specifically for sync. So that'll be a great episode. And I will see you guys next week on another exciting episode of Taxi TV. And I'm not going to hear the music on my end, but you guys will. Bye-bye, you guys. I'm watching the meters and not hearing anything.
Yeah, nice and loud over here.
No, I'm fading, baby. I can do a fade without hearing the music. I'm that talented.